Last night, just before I went to bed, a tweet came through via a friend of mine called Holly. And this was from the Royal Court Theatre, who have helped BBC to produce a bite-size education pack, which is online to help teachers in these days of COVID-19 to teach GCSE online. And one of the parts of it was TIE. And I thought, right, I'm going to have a look because my ego wanted to know that I had been included on it. I thought I wouldn't, because people like the Royal Court, professional theatre like that, haven't heard of someone like me. I'm very much an educational theatre person. And I looked and I was so delighted to find that Lethal Weapon was one of the images that was used. But the credit goes entirely to Ape Theatre Company, and that just reminded me of back in the 90s. This was happening, and it affected poor little me. I was thinking, everybody knows the title of my plays, so Chicken, Too Much Punch for Judy, and now Lethal Weapon are in schools. It was performed 2,546 times, so it was in a lot of schools in the UK. But no one knows who wrote it. It's just attached to Ape Theatre, and great, they were doing a fabulous job with it. But I wanted to have some recognition for it, and that whole wave of feeling came again. The Royal Court, they don't know who I am, and they should, but anyway, they didn't. And it wasn't for sake of trying. I certainly did try to put things out there. So, Oxford University Press turned it down. Colin Nelson turned it down. Collins Educational turned it down. So I sent it off and I tried to get it published, but it wasn't published for a number of years, probably 7 or 8 years afterwards. And then it did have my name attached to it because it was in the form of a script. So my ego was dutifully kind of put back together again. How did it all begin? Well, interesting. It's the first play that was commissioned, and this lovely lady, Mandy Rigo, who was the Oxfordshire Road Safety Officer, her colleague had come to see Chicken and had been a really big supporter of it. And she came and approached me and offered me a commission to write a new play about speeding. I thought I wasn't ever going to write a road safety play again, but this was an offer that involved money, and I jumped at the chance, even though it meant doing another road safety play. And Mandy gave me a great offer. She said, well, I'll take you to a prison and you can talk to people so that they can be your subject, because I know you deal with real life stories. And why don't you bring the family? So Daisy, our daughter, had just been born. She was under a month old, I think. And we had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, Ollie and Charlie. And Rachel was quite concerned about going to someone's house who we didn't know. And I'm going to show you a picture again. We just had the most amazing time. We've become lifelong friends. I was speaking to Mandy yesterday via Facebook. We spent time in their garden on that week, and we were just made to feel so welcome, even though Mandy took me off to the prison for a whole day, and us city folk really enjoyed the opportunity to be there in Oxford in a beautiful country situation. And it's been fantastic for our kids, and they speak very fondly of Mandy. The morning in the prison was quite a letdown because all the people I spoke to were basically drunk drivers who had also sped. So at lunchtime, in the prison lunch, very, very nice prison lunch, I had steak, by the restaurant that was run by prisoners. In the afternoon, I had one person left, and everything was hinging on this one person. And I thought, I don't want to rewrite Too Much Punch for Judy, but I do want to use real people. I hope this last guy is good, and he was absolutely, he was amazing. These are the interview notes I took from him. He was almost completely remorseless. He said, I still enjoyed driving even before the court case. I was driving again the day after the incident. This incident had killed a young girl, and his point of view was strongly she was to blame. So here and he wasn't drunk. So he was just someone who enjoyed speed, and he talked about it and almost kind of took off with excitement about how exciting speeding was. So a perfect situation for me to write a play about. But what I wanted to do, having done some original work and doing Tufty, I wanted to mix in a mixture of a fictional story and a real life story. So the accident scenes are all real, but the setup to it that leads up to it isn't. And I wanted to have a go at writing a traditional love triangle. So between Andy, Jazz, which was a name we were really strongly considering for Daisy, and in the end it became the name for the character in the play, and Matt. I called him Matt because living in Southampton at that time, the greatest footballer of all time in my view, other than George Best, is Matt Le Tissier, and it always reminded me it was Matt the footballer. So Matt was the third person in the triangle. So I wrote the love triangle and then created the car accident around it. So it's a play of two distinct parts. It's a fictional story with this very real, very solid car accident scene. And it begins with, again, using my kind of format of we need an explosive beginning. We certainly had an explosive beginning with a mad professor you can see there, and, you know, explosions and stuff, and clowns. And also you can see how simple the set work was. I don't know who designed this set, but it literally is a very clever little sticky tape on the floor, a couple of blocks either side, and then accident tape at the back. And I think that was pulled forward after the car accident. And there's Andy speeding in his car. That's our OYT production. And we were producing this play at the same time as 8 Theatre Company. And the one thing we were very fortunate to have, we had a brand new music teacher who was a film score writer, James Holmes, and he wrote, it's the first time I'd ever done this, he wrote an underscore for the whole production of music, not songs, underscored music like in a film. It added so much to the power of the production, and most of my plays since that day have been fortunate enough to have that kind of a original underscore, later on written by ex-students. But the main scene is the accident. How do you do another different accident scene? Well, we decided that the accident scene needed to be done with a constant punching. Because a car doesn't think, oh, I've had enough now, I'll stop. That person's had enough now. So the victim is bashed remorselessly. And that was the decision of what we would do. It was probably the most powerful first take on an accident scene I've ever done. It really worked superbly. Matt and Lizzie, who had won the award in the production, were the two lovers, and the girl who was killed, played by Lindsay, and her boyfriend, I think, was Jamie. And it was just one of those scenes that was absolutely stunning. And when I went to see the professional production, we genuinely not talked about it. They'd done pretty much the same thing. So quite incredible synergy that we both decided that. The design, lovely poster design. This is Barry from Epping Youth Theatre doing some design ideas which were developed into one of the most fabulous posters we've ever had. So that was the OYT poster for the production, and then the reviews came in. And Andy is travelling at over 70 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour limit. And in the space of less than 2 seconds, Kelly becomes a mangled wreck of metal and flesh. A brilliantly executed scene sees her surrounded by 4 characters, clad in black, drawing up to her doom, with Andy accelerating up to her with a high-speed fist, knocking her flying. You'll have to watch it to realise this is definitely not just another one about road safety. If you're a driver, you stay within the speed limit. So we'd managed it with Oakland's Youth Theatre, and my lovely friend Matt took on the rights. There he is with Graham. Remember, Matt played Graham in Race to be Seen. And Matt took on the rights to direct this play with the professional company. And wow, what a change he made. One little comment. Clowns' masks entered accompanied by appropriate pre-recorded or live music, vocal sound effects and or gobbledygook speech. That's in the script. Matt took that idea and used vocal sound effects amplified throughout the production in a way that I'd never imagined, but he thought that's what I was asking for. So they had comedy sound effects when they were walking, they had amplified. They had accident sound effects with massive hooter things and vocals. Everything was done with microphones to create this comic sound effects. The most effective addition that has ever been made to a play that I've written. It was the best professional production and the most different professional production of a play that I'd written. Really just quite amazing. The first production featured Sean Dooley, who tells us he's become a major actor. Sean likes frogs, that was in his original thing, and that was the Essex County Council tour of the play. And this is Barnsley showing Sean off, who is one of the sons of Barnsley, and the reactions from schools were incredible. It truly was a powerful tool. Even the most challenging of our students in the audience were held by the drama. Always what I want to hear about. Our Year 11s can be a difficult audience at times, but they were engrossed and really enjoyed this production. It's a very visual and entertaining production, pitched at exactly the right level with a lot of humour despite the seriousness of the topic. And that was something I was so pleased with because I'm not associated with humour. English teacher talking about it. Absolutely brilliant. It's the best drama production for young people that I've ever seen. The sound effects were excellent. Good, glad you said that. Brilliantly pitched. No negative comments from anybody. That's a first. I could go on, but I won't. I'm seeing I've gone well over 10 minutes, which is my normal level. Just a final thing. In Croydon, the Archbishop Tennyson School was studying it, and one person very special to me who studied it was Daniel Spargo Mabs. I'd come to meet Dan later through his drama teacher, who suggested that I write a play about a tragedy that he befell. But it's lovely to think that someone I came to know had already known of me, although he probably didn't know who wrote the play.